Love incredibly tasty seafood? Welcome to Seafood 101, where we celebrate the journey from sea to market to table. For more than 100 years, Seattle has been the home of our commercial fishing industry and the North Pacific fishing fleet. Today, our industry has never been healthier. Seattle is the home of hundreds of fishing companies, shipyards, suppliers, and marine services. Fishing is the past, present, and future of the Pacific Northwest. If you love sustainably caught wild seafood, you've come to the right place. Visit PacificNorthwestSeafood101.com to check out all the delicious recipes, news, and upcoming events. Now here's what's on the menu for today's program. Welcome to Seafood 101. Hi, I'm Ken Saunderson with King County Maritime, and today I'm joined by David Tangkilisan, who's a chef at Chinooks restaurant down here at Fisherman's Terminal, and Tim Ferleman, who is a seafood buyer for Anthony's Restaurants. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Well, my pleasure.
Hey, let's start with you, Chef David. Tell us a little bit about Chinooks Restaurant.
Well, Chinooks, we opened in 1988. We're a casual, high-energy seafood restaurant. We're located in the Fisherman Terminal. We have the outdoor patio of Little Chinooks, and then we have the main restaurants. And then we're perfect for family dining, showing out-of-town guests the best seafood in the Pacific Northwest.
How cool is it to be a chef at a seafood restaurant at Fisherman's Terminal? It doesn't get any more natural than that, huh?
No, there is nothing better than fresh seafood. Our biggest motto is seafood so fresh that the fisherman eats here.
That's great. That is so great. And providing with all that great fresh seafood is Tim. Tim, tell us about your job down at Anthony's.
Well, we've got our own seafood distribution, purchasing and distribution company where we bring in the fresh fish direct. I fly it in out of Southeast Alaska or all over Alaska direct from fishermen or the processing docks. We fly it in right off the auction floor in Honolulu, Hawaii. We process it in our facility, pack it, and deliver it fresh to our restaurants daily. From our restaurants in Idaho and Oregon, Bend, Oregon, Spokane, and then all the way up and down the Puget Sound corridor from Bellingham to Olympia.
So, Tim, how cool is it to be buying directly from the fishermen? You've got relationships with individual fishermen up and down the waterfront, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. It's a perfect job for me. Most of the guys I deal with are the same type guys, outdoorsmen, guys for the love of the outdoors. And their relationships built over 30 years. They know what my needs are. I know what kind of product they're going to deliver. And, that combination makes for amazing quality, fresh seafood in all of our restaurants.
And you get a chance to not only deal with Alaska fishermen, but fishermen from around the world, right?
Oh yeah. Most of the fishermen we deal with and the producers who deal direct with the fishermen are mostly in the United States from the East Coast. And Canada as well. I have a lot of great Canadian suppliers, and then the Hawaiian Islands. So I get to deal with characters from all walks of life, all over the country, and it's great. I've got to meet a variety of them, whether I travel to Boston or Hawaii or up to BC. It's a great job, and like I say, it's a lot of fun, and I love fresh seafood too. It's basically what I eat, so the job fits me perfectly. And I was a chef at one point, so I really like dealing with our chefs and kind of understand their needs as well.
And boy, that's really cool. Hey, Chef David, tell us a little bit about the seafood down at the Chinooks. I mean, you guys have a variety of different seafood that you've got on the menu down there, right?
Yes, sir. We have a variety from salmon, a halibut, a ling cut, a true cut, and then the clams and oysters. And the product that Tim supplied to us, you cannot find any seafood fresher than this. In the middle of the summer, when the salmon is so fresh, you can see it when coming in, and then still have the rigor mortis. It is so firm still, and then the only way to beat it is by you catching it yourself at the Puget Sound. Other than that, there's nothing better than this, sir.
That's great. And having that access to that quality and the freshness really helps, separate out the Pacific Northwest from, say, seafood dining in Iowa or someplace in the Midwest, right?
Yes, sir, of course. And then our biggest, the one who keeps us honest all the time, of course, we're located at the Fisherman Terminal. And then the fisherman knows what we're serving. So they're always going to keep us honest. Like, all right, this is a good quality product that we're serving them to.
And for both you guys, there's really a difference between the wild caught, like Alaskan seafood, and farm raised seafood in a lot of cases. It really adds to the freshness of the seafood that you're serving down there. Is that correct?
I think the biggest thing about the difference between like buying a farm raised salmon or buying a wild caught salmon is we've got 5 different Pacific salmon species, and we have all these different wonderful flavor profiles, and so we can get a Copper River King salmon that tastes completely different. It has a different flavor profile than, say, a Southeast Alaskan Troll Caught King salmon, which is amazing too. So my biggest thing with the wild fish is the different flavor profiles you get out of it, as opposed to an Atlantic farm-raised salmon. It's going to taste exactly the same every time, no matter where you're at. And I like the different nuances of the wild fish. That's
Well,
my
that's
favorite part about it.
Sounds delicious. When I go to a grocery store, I get confused sometimes. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, so I kind of go back to the same old, same old. I'll buy salmon, but I don't get adventurous out there. Boy, there's sure a lot of different kinds of seafood in that seafood case. What should I be looking for when I'm looking to explore different kinds of seafood?
Well, first of all, you want to look for freshness. The seafood, no matter
Exactly.
whether it's a rainbow trout fillet or a salmon or a halibut fillet, it should look very shiny. It should look, I call it alive. It shouldn't be dull. It shouldn't be flat. It should have a nice opaque, nice glow to it. But definitely try different things. I mean, all of our Pacific Northwest fish are great. Your petrale soy, your Alaskan or Oregon rockfish, your salmon. But try the ahi or the swordfish once in a while. As long as it has that bright, fresh-looking appearance and it smells fresh, go for it. Take a chance, man. That's what I say.
And that's the same with, looking for clams, mussels, oysters, and shellfish as well, right?
They should all be closed up tight. It should look alive. It should look fresh. If the shell looks dried out and dull and you see that gaping where it's opened up, probably really not what you want. And ask your seafood guy, hey, do you know when this was harvested? Because all the shellfish comes with a harvest tag. They know. They can answer questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's for sure.
Chef
That's my
David, Chef David, I was going to ask, in terms of preparation of seafood, give me some cooking tips about what you like to do with different kinds of seafood.
What do I like to do? Cook. As for technique, the biggest thing for me when I cooking on the grill, I season the grill instead of the fish so it doesn't flare up. But the main tips that I tell everybody is do not ever overcook seafood, because in my personal opinion, there's nothing worse than overcooked salmon. Salmon is a beautiful piece of fish. The moment you overcook it, it just becomes dry and become like a, yeah,
Yeah.
it's completely changes its texture and everything.
And you season salmon up when you're grilling it?
Yes, sir. Season it up and then oil the grill instead of the fish, and then prevent it from sticking and prevent it from flaring, and you're gonna have a beautiful piece of fish.
And how do I know when it's done?
Should be just the color should be just opaque. It should be a firm to the touch. Cooked seafood shouldn't be a bouncy or like mush. It should be just like firm to the touch, and then when you touch it, should just like flake a little bit. And like I said again, if it's just don't overcook it.
And Tim, any tips from your side of the world?
Oh yeah, for me, again, David's right. No matter whether it's, first of all, don't overthink it. A lot of people are they get freaked out about trying to cook a piece of fish. It's very simple. My salmon, olive oil, squeeze a lemon, some fresh crushed garlic, salt, pepper onto the grill, or put it in the oven, do an oven broil. But it's the same way. If you're not sure, take a fork or a knife and put it and just pull open the fish a little bit and look. And if it's it should still have a little bit of that, just a little bit of that rawness look in the very center. You can see when it starts to cook, you lose that color. And by the time you pull that out of your oven or off the grill that way, it's going to be perfect when you get it to the table. Again, it's better safe than sorry. Fish is a very safe food to eat. Undercooked a little bit is fine. It's going to be great. But again, as soon as you overcook it, you lose some of that flavor, you lose some of that moisture, and it's just not as good. But don't overthink it. And like I say, there's a lot of good resources too, like Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute, ASME. You can go on their website, and they've got a ton of good recipes that are come from all around Alaska. Like I say, try different things. Don't be afraid to experiment, and just don't overcook it. You don't have to cover it with a ton of sauce or anything like that. Good fresh fish, that's the star of the show, and a little bit of seasoning is all you need.
Simpler is better.
Yeah, simpler is better. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I am really getting hungry. I think I'm going to head down to Chinooks now and grab a meal. I'm starving after all that great discussion about that. Hey, Tim, Chef David, thank you so much for joining us today on Seafood 101, where we celebrate the journey from sea to market to table. Remember to hit the subscribe button to keep up on all the delicious recipes, shopping tips, and industry news. Until next time, cheers to great eating with seafood. Thank you for joining us for today's Seafood 101 program. Seafood 101 is sponsored by the Seattle Propeller Club with the Port of Seattle. It's presented by the Alaska Bering Sea Crabbers, Bristol Bay Regional Seafood Development Association, Freezer Longline Coalition, and the Groundfish Forum. Special thanks to National Fisherman Magazine and Pacific Marine Expo. Visit PacificNorthwestSeafood101.com to check out all the delicious recipes, news, and upcoming events. See you next time as we continue to celebrate the journey from sea to market to table. Cheers.